Good evening. You're joining Prime TV News with me, Vibhuda Vijay Bandara. First, let's look at today's headlines. Gold face green turns into a sea of heads. Field Marshal Sarath Fonseca is to be vested with the Law and Order Ministry. SLFP and the Podujana Peramuna ink an MOU. President says the pledge to protect the environment should not be limited only to election platforms. A Mexico mayor is tied to a truck and dragged through the streets. And now for news in detail. The Sri Lanka Freedom Party and the Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna signed a memorandum of understanding today. It was with respect to expressing support to Gotabaya Rajapaksa at the presidential election. The agreement between the Sri Lanka Freedom Party and the Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna was inked at the Sri Lanka Foundation Institute. The agreement was signed by General Secretary of the Sri Lanka Freedom Party, Parliamentarian Dayasiri Jayasekara, and General Secretary of the Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna, Sagara Karyavasam. Many seniors, including Acting Chairman of the Sri Lanka Freedom Party, Professor Rohana Lakshman Piyadasa, Senior Vice Chairman, Parliamentarian Nimal Siripala De Silva, General Secretary of the United People's Freedom Alliance, Parliamentarian Mahinda Amaravira, and Chairman of the Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna, Professor G.L. Piris were present. SLFP General Secretary Dayasiri Jayasekara said that they were joined by none other than the Jatika Balavegaya. A leader that was brought forward by the Jatika Balavegaya put forward the next program for the presidential election. He is Gotabaya Rajapaksa. He is not a person who took on to politics by hand. He is a leader who had come from among the intellectuals, and it was at their request that the Podujana Peramuna fielded him for this battle. He said that they were travelling on the path for victory of Gotabaya Rajapaksa, protecting their party and the country. There aren't any major concerns in their policies. After taking over the government, they would be signing a separate agreement with Gotabaya Rajapaksa, and they will also be signing a separate agreement with leaders of the Podujana Peramuna. He said that these agreements have strengthened the path the country will proceed. After winning the elections, they would establish the Sri Lanka Nidhas Podujana Sandhana. Dayasiri Jayasekara said that they could give the result of the presidential election, that is 65 lakhs, that is adding 50 and 15 lakhs. It is this victory that they have obtained. Former Minister and Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna National Organizer Basil Rajapaksa said that both their parties comprise a group caring and that loves their country. It is the people that called on them to unite and face the election. He mentioned that it is their responsibility to protect and safeguard members of both the parties. They did this with the sole aim of building a secure country. Presidential candidate Sajith Premadasa visited the Kalaniya Rajamahawihare and engaged in religious observances. After arriving at the Kalaniya Rajamahawihare, Sajith Premadasa called on the chief incumbent, the Venerable Professor Kollupitiye Mahinda Sangha Rakkita Thera, and received his blessings. The Mahasangha, led by the chief incumbent of the Vihare, chanted Set Pirit and extended their blessings on the future activities of Sajith Premadasa. A group including Minister Field Marshal Sarath Fonseca was present on the occasion. Presidential candidate Sajith Premadasa also visited the Sri Dharma Vijayaloka Vihare in Rukmale. Sajith called on the Mahanayaka of the Kalyani Samagri Dharma Mahasangha Sabha, the most venerable Ittapane Dhamma Lankara Thera, and received his blessings. Chief of the Sajith Premadasa Elections Operations Office, Tissa Attanayaka, today made a complaint to the Elections Commission. Tissa Attanayaka has lodged this complaint saying that injustice has been caused to presidential candidate Minister Sajith Premadasa through several programs that had been telecast. Issuing a statement to the Elections Operation Office, Tissa Attanayaka said that certain media establishments had allocated more airtime on behalf of one candidate in a well-planned manner. The statement pointed out that this is a serious injustice and as well as a blatant violation of the law. Tisathanayaka said that certain channels were telecasting special news and dialogues that particularly causes injustice to the United National Front candidate Sajith Premadasa. A report summarizing the programs and dialogues broadcast during the last 4 days by these TV channels and radio stations is prepared and presented to the Elections Commission to hold the necessary investigations and take suitable action. All arrangements are in place for the LPTO Pradeshya Sabha election scheduled to be held tomorrow. Security has been tightened and the transport of ballot boxes is taking place today. Galle District Deputy Elections Commissioner UK Chandralal said that security has been increased fourfold than at the previous LPTO Pradeshya Sabha poll. Around 580 officials have been deployed. The Galle District Deputy Elections Commissioner said 53,394 are eligible to vote in the polls. The ballot boxes will be issued from the district secretariat tomorrow for the election. More than 580 officials will be deployed on election duty. Also, the police officers deployed on duty at the polling booths will be increased fourfold. The counting of votes will take place at the 48 election booths. He said that they expect to announce the overall results just past 10 p.m. tomorrow from the Galle District Assistant Election Commissioner's office. The Galle District Deputy Election Commissioner emphasized that no election violence has so far been reported. He pointed out that it is satisfactory to note that no serious election violent incidents have been reported. He especially thanked the members of the defense forces for performing their duties to the letter. Minor incidents were reported at certain places. He added that these were being investigated. President Maithripala Sirisena has said that the pledge to protect the environment should not be limited only to election platforms. The President was addressing the Environmental Pilots Presidential Medal ceremony held at the President's house. The Environmental Pilots Presidential Medal ceremony was held at the President's house in Colombo Fort this morning. 40 environment pilots received medals from the President. Professor Devaka Veerakon, Acting Dean of the Department of Nursing, University of Colombo, delivered a special lecture on the importance of environmental education in environmental conservation. The commemorative book compiled to mark the 2019 Environment Pilot Presidential Medal ceremony was presented to the President. The National Environmental Pioneer Program is being implemented in the local school system by the Central Environment Authority, with the full support of the Ministry of Education to endow a pleasant environment heritage of the motherland. Addressing the function, President Maithripala Sirisena said that the children from their childhood should be trained to protect the environment, plants and tree as well as animals. The Constitutional Council today informed the Elections Commission to name a permanent chairman since a presidential election cannot be held under an acting chairman according to legal provisions. This intimation had been made by the Constitutional Council to the Elections Commission following a meeting held at the Parliamentary Complex last morning under the patronage of the Speaker Karu Jayasuriya. The Speaker, Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe and other members of the Elections Commission attended this meeting held yesterday. Opposition leader Mahinda Rajapaksa, Tamil National Alliance leader R. Sambandhan and President's representative parliamentarian Mahinda Samarasinghe did not attend this meeting. In addition, Acting Chairman of the Elections Commission Mahinda Deshapriya and Attorney General Dappula de Oliveira were specially summoned to the meeting. Attorney General Dappula de Oliveira cited that an independent Elections Commission cannot hold a presidential election under an acting chairman. Accordingly, the Constitutional Council has taken initiatives to inform the Elections Commission to appoint a permanent chairman. Janata Vimukti Peramuna representative Bimal Ratnayaka explained at length the manner in which the electronic media's actions during this presidential election period and expressed views that legal measures can be taken in this respect. Sri Lanka has introduced a new postal logo to mark the 50th anniversary of the World Postal Day. The new logo has been redesigned to replace the 40-year-old logo. The creator of this logo is Jagat Jayasinghe, creative director of the independent television media network. The new postal logo was unveiled on the occasion of the 50th anniversary of the International Postal Day. The new logo has been selected after holding an international competition. Its designer is Jagat Jayasinghe. Jagat Jayasinghe had succeeded in bringing fame to Sri Lanka internationally. Jagat Jayasinghe was also the designer of the official logo of the Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting in Sri Lanka. Also, by designing the official logo of the United Nations Buddhist Conference, Jagat Jayasinghe had succeeded in taking his creative ability to the international. In addition, he had won several local and international awards. The inaugural rally of the new Democratic Front presidential election campaign is being held at Goldface Green today.
Hela bimai deshaya mage pipi dena at parapurai siri lakam ekamitat nagina janareli hadavatin e ohutmai
ekaramunakin me mihitalaye ratama ekata ekvanada dinaye siusiya dahasin hadavat banduna ekva indiriyata yana maga haduna ekva indiriyata yana maga haduna hadin hada hitin hita mulu nagara nagara gambin wasa obat mama mulu radat radat ada ekva nagamu jaya jaya gosha.
The proceedings commenced under the patronage of Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe and Sajid Premadasa, the presidential candidate of the new Democratic Front. Thousands of people from all corners of the country joined in the event. In his address, presidential candidate Sajid Premadasa said that a family cannot be given the opportunity of deciding the country's agenda. He said that he cannot permit the misuse of public property as in the past. No one will be given the opportunity to engage in fraud corruption. Development projects that would solve the problems of the people would be launched. He called on the nation to join hands with him to build a country with pride. Further expressing his views, Sajid Premadasa said that the Law and Order Ministry will be vested in Field Marshal Sarath Fonseca and terrorism will be totally eliminated. Former Defence Secretary Gotabaya Rajapaksa left for Singapore in the early hours of today based on a court permission he had received. Former Defence Secretary Gotabaya Rajapaksa had sought permission from the three-member Special High Court to travel overseas for a medical test. He had also sought for the release of his passport, which was in the judicial custody. Considering this request, the court recently granted permission for Gotabaya Rajapaksa to travel abroad. Accordingly, he left for Singapore this morning. Uva Provincial Governor Maitri Gunaratne has said that he is receiving public complaints on the activities of the Badulla Municipal Council, and if this continued, it would be brought under his control. Meanwhile, he emphasized that the Uva Provincial Councillors should return their official vehicles as the Provincial Council had been dissolved. Legal action will be taken against those who do not heed this request. Uva Governor Maitri Gunaratne said that no state activity will be paralysed simply of an election. They expect to serve the people of the area to the maximum. The people enjoy the right to vote and this right will be protected to the maximum. He said that several provincial ministers have handed in their vehicles and there are some more to be returned. However, by tomorrow he would hold an inquiry in this respect. The members are not interested in developing the city. He said that he had called for a report from the Commissioner. It is meaningless in maintaining institutions that do not do any service to the people. There are no funds and even assessment taxes are not being collected. With that, we end today's segment of Prime TV News. Prime News returns tomorrow. And in the meantime, make www.itnnews.lk your go-to source for the very latest in news at home and overseas. Have a pleasant day. Good night.